The very first person to die in the fight for American independence was an African-American man. Do you know his name? Here are 3 facts to consider as we head into the July 4th holiday. 6 years before the Declaration of Independence was the Boston Massacre, and on that night, British soldiers fired into a crowd of people and several people died. But the man most remembered that night was a man by the name of Crispus Attucks. And we don't know a lot about him. The Library of Congress says it's believed that he escaped slavery several years earlier and was working on whaling ships sailing from the Boston Harbor. But on that night, he was the first person to fall. And in the days and weeks that followed, he was the one memorialized for fighting for American independence. In fact, John Adams wrote of that night that the night of the Boston Massacre was the night that the fight for American independence really started. Years later, John Adams voted for the Declaration of Independence. That actually happened on July 2nd, 1776, not July 4th. July 4th was the date that the Continental Congress officially adopted the Declaration. John Adams always thought that July 2nd would be the day that we all celebrate, but it didn't work out that way. Although we do celebrate the Declaration of Independence on the July 4th holiday, it's easy to forget that it took another 7 years of fighting in the American Revolution before the United States really secured our independence. About 70 years after the American Revolution, America was at war with each other. And ironically, it was on July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd that one of the deadliest battles in American history took place, and that was the Battle of Gettysburg. A writer describes the battle as the sound of all wolves howling, saying that the land trembled like a sick child. This was a turning point in the Civil War. The North stopped the South's advance. But it was another 2 years before the Civil War ended. And it's important to remember the shared sacrifice. 28,000 Confederate soldiers and 23,000 Union soldiers were killed or injured during this battle. That's more than the entire American Revolution and War of 1812 combined. As I was preparing this video, I was reflecting on something that my husband once wrote. We actually got married on July 4th weekend, 9 years ago today. And right after we got married, he was asked to write something for the Wall Street Journal. My husband is a combat veteran. And here's a little bit of what he wrote. Okay, read this part.
America did not become a nation without a fight. It was not the Declaration of Independence that gave us freedom, but the Continental Army. America was born from conflict, delivered by soldiers willing to pay with their blood the tremendous cost of freedom. The dead did not wish to be martyred. They no doubt longed to return to their homes and families, but they believed in the glorious cause, something far greater than themselves.
Nice job. Those at the Boston Massacre or signing the Declaration of Independence or fighting at the Battle at Gettysburg, they didn't know what the future held. It was a time of great uncertainty. And we're in a time of great uncertainty right now. Often the news preys upon that, and that's not what Smarter News is about. We want to deliver to you high quality, nonpartisan information in small doses with a dash of history that enriches your life, that makes you a little bit smarter. It's our small contribution to the continued fight for the glorious cause. Happy July 4th.